In life, people often spend many years learning how to speak well, yet forget that sometimes what truly changes a life lies in knowing when to remain silent. Bodhidharma once taught that when the mind is clear, all things are at peace. When the mouth is quiet, blessings arrive on their own. At first glance, these words seem simple, but the longer we live and the more storms we endure, the more we realize that silence itself is wisdom, a mirror reflecting the deepest state of one's inner world. Some people spend their entire lives arguing, trying to prove they are right, struggling for victory to satisfy their pride. Yet the more they speak, the more exhausted they become, sinking deeper into cycles of anger and resentment. Those who know how to pause, however, are often the ones who live longer, live calmer, and live with greater understanding. They know that when the mouth is still, the mind grows bright. And when the mind is bright, life naturally begins to change. Silence is not weakness. Silence is what remains after one has been wounded enough to understand that not everything needs words. Not everyone deserves an explanation, and not every truth becomes clearer when spoken aloud. Sometimes a gentle smile, a quiet nod, or a single step back is the highest form of wisdom. As we grow older, we begin to see that speaking too much does not prove intelligence. It often only reveals inner turmoil. When there is turbulence inside, the mouth becomes restless. When there is peace within, the lips close naturally. Look at a deep mountain stream. The calmer the water, the clearer it is. The louder it rushes, the murkier it becomes. A wise person is like that still water, quiet, transparent, unshowy, yet profound enough that others can sense their depth without a single word. A Zen master once said, "The one who knows how to be silent is the one who is conversing with themselves." Indeed, when we stop speaking, the mind begins its true dialogue. We hear things we once ignored in our haste. We see the roots of our pain, recognize what we truly need, and realize that many things which once ignited our anger were, in truth, small matters in a vast life. Silence is the act of filtering the noise and debris from the mind. It is choosing not to react to what is meaningless, stepping out of the crowd to observe the flow of life without being swept away by its clamor. At times, the world may call us foolish for not arguing or defending ourselves. Yet, Bodhidharma taught that great wisdom appears simple. The truly wise often look naive, not because they lack understanding, but because they choose quietness and allow cause and effect to speak for them. They do not feel the need to prove anything, for they know that truth does not live in words, but in the posture of the mind. Those who have truly lived understand this. When we still crave victory, we are not yet at peace. When we still feel the need to justify ourselves, we do not yet fully trust. And when we still seek to impress, we have not yet truly understood ourselves. When understanding arrives, words become unnecessary. The truly wise do not need to raise their voices. They simply observe, understand, and move through life's storms in silence. They know that life does not need to be loud to be meaningful, for the most valuable thing a person possesses is not their voice, but their state of mind. If you have ever regretted words spoken in anger or hurt someone because you could not pause in time, this message is for you. Today, let us relearn the art of silence, not as an escape, but as a form of maturity. For only in silence can we hear the voice of life, see clearly the paths of fortune and misfortune, and finally touch the peace we have long been seeking. Bodhidharma taught that a truly wise person does not engage in arguments, for arguing only disturbs the mind. The wiser one becomes, the more one understands that winning with words is often losing in the heart. A disciple once asked him, "Master, when others insult me, should I respond?" Bodhidharma smiled and replied, "If someone offers you a gift and you refuse it, to whom does it belong?" "To the giver," the disciple answered. Bodhidharma nodded. "Then when someone insults you and you do not accept it, those words return to them." This is the wisdom of remaining silent in the face of harshness, not out of fear, but out of understanding. Every word spoken comes from the state of the speaker's mind, not from our true worth. When others offend us, they reveal their own inner turmoil. They do not diminish our value. But when we react, we lower ourselves to the same level. The wise know when to step back, allowing silence to become a mirror in which others see their own unrest. There is an old story of an upright official who was constantly slandered. When urged to defend himself, he simply said, "If a dog barks at you, must you bend down and bark back?" Time passed, the truth emerged, and his silence became his greatest strength. Silence is not weakness, it is courage. It means overcoming the ego that always wants to be right, recognized, and praised. Those who master silence free themselves from anger and from the noise of the world. In a noisy age where everyone wants to speak and few are willing to listen, silence becomes a rare treasure. Like a still lake that reflects the sky, only a calm mind can see clearly. The truly wise do not argue to win. They smile, trusting time and cause and effect to speak for them. For only those who are truly at peace, deeply confident and truly understanding dare to remain silent. Bodhidharma taught that to understand without speaking is clarity, and to know without reacting is wisdom. When we fall into silence, the mind opens. We begin to see the deeper causes behind everything, no longer rushing to blame, but gently smiling at the workings of cause and condition. Silence is not the end of dialogue. It is the beginning of self-understanding. And once we truly understand ourselves, life naturally changes. No longer a battlefield of winning and losing, but a gentle journey back to peace. When the mind is calm, the mouth becomes quiet on its own. Words grow restless only when the heart is unsettled. The more chaotic the mind, the more it needs to speak. The more peaceful the mind, the kinder and fewer the words. Bodhidharma once said that those who speak too much have not yet seen the root of the mind, because once it is seen, everything that needs to be said is already present in one's eyes, one's smile, and the way one lives. Like still water reflecting the sky, A clear heart needs only a little light to reveal great depth. Every word carries energy. From a peaceful mind, words heal. From a restless mind, words wound. That is why some people say very little, yet their presence alone brings ease. True calm does not mean having no emotions. It means emotions arise, but we are not dragged away by them. The mind becomes like the sky. Clouds come and go, yet the sky remains vast. When the heart is settled, speech softens, life lightens, and even without saying a word, peace is felt by all who come near. Bodhidharma taught that if the mind is still shaken by the words of others, then it is not yet free. When the heart depends on public opinion, we live imprisoned by reputation and the gaze of others. But when the mind is settled, praise and blame cannot disturb the inner lake. There is an old story of a Zen master falsely accused and publicly shamed. He neither defended himself nor reacted, responding only with a calm, "Is that so?" Months later, the truth revealed itself, and his silence awakened the entire village. He needed no argument, for truth, in time, speaks on its own. Bodhidharma also taught that those who praise us are projecting their illusions, and those who criticize us are revealing the shadows of their own minds. Neither can harm us unless we accept their words. Praise and blame are both tests. Praise tests our humility. Blame tests our peace. The wise person understands this and no longer clings to either. When criticized rightly, they correct themselves. When criticized falsely, they simply smile. To feel wounded is not because words are sharp, but because the heart still holds on. In a noisy world where judgment spreads faster than understanding, silence becomes a path of liberation. The wise step back, observe, and refuse to be pulled into endless justification. They know that public opinion changes like the wind, but cause and effect never fail. To remain silent is not surrender, it is compassion. Compassion for oneself, so the heart is not further wounded, and compassion for others, so no new harm is created. When the mind stands firm like a mountain, praise and blame become passing clouds, and peace remains untouched. Someone once asked Bodhidharma, "When I am falsely accused, what should I do?" He replied, "If you are truly innocent, let time bear witness. The world is born to misunderstand. If you try to explain yourself to everyone, you will have no time left to cultivate your mind." This teaching runs deep. Only those who have been hurt yet still keep their peace, truly understand the value of compassion. Compassion is not weakness. It is the strength to feel pain without resentment, to be wronged without hatred. When we remain silent in misunderstanding, we return judgment to karma. Time does not lie, and truth will eventually reveal itself. Those who understand the way know that defending one's name is less important than protecting one's heart. Reputation built on public opinion rises and falls with public opinion. But dignity, rooted in the mind, never fades. To endure injustice with calm is not loss, but refinement. Bodhidharma taught that being hurt without giving rise to resentment is the first step toward awakening. When anger is released, words lose their power and only the clarity of the heart remains. In silence, misunderstanding cannot damage us. It only illuminates our character. In a world filled with noise, silence becomes a doorway to wisdom. People spend their lives listening to praise, blame, comparison, and judgment, yet rarely listen to themselves. Bodhidharma taught that stillness in the body is meditation, and quietness in the mind is the way. Only in silence can we hear the most honest voice within, the voice of conscience and insight. When the mind becomes calm like a clear lake, it reflects truth effortlessly. And in that calm, we realize that all confusion begins with a restless mind, and all peace begins the moment we return to stillness. A merchant once asked Bodhidharma, "I have wealth, status, and power, yet my heart is never at peace. Why?" Bodhidharma replied, "Do you ever sit quietly and do nothing?" The merchant answered, "Never." Bodhidharma said gently, "Then you have allowed your life to be ruled by noise." In that moment, the merchant wept, realizing he had lived so loudly that he had forgotten the meaning of silence. True silence is not the absence of speech, but the pause that allows us to listen deeply. When we become still, the mind is like muddy water left undisturbed. Slowly, the sediment settles and clarity appears. Many people fear silence because they are afraid to face their own wounds. Yet only silence can truly heal. The noise of the world may distract us for a while, but it cannot mend what is broken inside. When we sit quietly with our pain, breathe with it, and accept it, suffering begins to dissolve, just as ice melts under the sun. Bodhidharma taught that for one who understands the way, the sound of wind is meditation, drifting clouds are teachings, and falling rain reminds us that all troubles pass. When we know how to stop, the entire world becomes our teacher. People often believe peace can only be found by escaping the world, but Bodhidharma taught that true practice is keeping the mind unmoved in the midst of the crowd. Silence in solitude is easy. Silence amid noise is true mastery. In a world filled with voices, opinions, praise and blame, a single moment of inner stillness is enough to return us to ourselves. When the heart is calm, anywhere becomes a place of peace. To remain silent in the middle of chaos is not withdrawal. It is strength, wisdom, and the highest form of cultivation, where the world remains loud, yet the heart stays quietly whole. Bodhidharma once said, "Guarding your words is guarding your blessings. Careless speech destroys karma." Many people focus on preserving wealth or status, yet few realize that true fortune lies in the restraint of the tongue. A single harsh word, a moment of anger, or a careless remark can undo years of merit, scattering blessings that had quietly accumulated. The wise speak less, for they understand that every word carries energy, either fortune or misfortune. As the old saying goes, the mouth brings calamity, the heart brings fortune. Those who master silence, even in poverty, carry a light within. the true wealth of the soul. A wealthy merchant once lost his fortune because of his sharp tongue. Anger and careless speech drove away prosperity, friends, and health. Only when he learned to speak gently and remain silent at the right moments did his blessings return. The wise understand that much in life does not require words. Action and restraint often suffice. When fortune approaches, be silent to nurture it. When misfortune nears, be silent to protect your heart. Silence is armor for blessings, a mirror reflecting cause and effect. Words can save or destroy, sowing seeds of either suffering or peace. Each word we speak is a seed planted in the soil of the mind. Hatred yields suffering, compassion yields serenity. Thus, silence is both practice and blessing. The truly wise choose to live slowly, speak sparingly, and act mindfully, not from fear, but from understanding the delicate balance of karma. By restraining speech and cultivating a kind heart, one preserves harmony and accumulates merit. A gentle word can sustain a relationship, while a harsh one may destroy it. In life, fortune comes not from chance alone, but from careful words, mindful deeds, and the quiet cultivation of the heart. To guard one's tongue is to guard one's life. To speak with care is to invite blessings. Bodhidharma taught that the wise see life without being swept away, while the foolish dive into every current. When faced with petty people, their words are like a raging river. React, and you are carried away. Stay still, and the current fades. Silence before the malicious is a way to protect the body, mind, and blessings. Petty people thrive on gossip, envy, and stirring conflict. Responding gives them exactly what they seek: attention. The wise conserve energy, knowing that where there is quarrel, there is no peace. A story tells of a great general envied by a court official. Advised to defend himself, he instead spoke only to those who understood him, knowing that arguing with the petty was fruitless. Years later, the malicious were exposed, while the general remained respected. As the saying goes, debating with a gentleman illuminates. Debating with a petty person only muddies. The wise remain silent not out of fear, but because they know it is unwise to lower themselves to triviality. Silence before the petty is strength. A deep calm few possess. Choosing stillness over reaction is mastery. Bodhidharma reminded that when the malicious speak, it is their karma, not yours. Reacting fuels their fire. Remaining silent lets it die out. Every encounter with pettiness is a test of the mind. Anger fails the test. Calmness passes. Each moment of quiet before malice cultivates inner skill and strengthens the heart. True strength lies in smiling at criticism, staying silent under attack, and remaining serene amid misunderstanding. Silence before the petty does not weaken. It fortifies, clarifies, and preserves your blessings. In the end, peace is found not by conquering others, but by mastering your own mind. Bodhidharma taught that a single surge of anger can open 1,000 doors of suffering. Anger is like fire within the mind. If left unchecked, it burns first through the tongue. destroying relationships and trust. True wisdom is knowing when to remain silent. To pause before speaking in anger is not weakness but mastery, for in that moment of restraint, one has conquered the heart's fire. As he advised, when the flame rises, breathe deeply, as if dousing embers with water, and the fire will not consume you. Anger is not a fault but a test, an opportunity to refine the mind. Words spoken in rage can wound beyond repair, while silence preserves harmony and cultivates virtue. Bodhidharma emphasized that patience and silence protect both oneself and others. To endure without reaction, to smile instead of retaliating, is to transform destructive energy into understanding. The greatest victory is not over others, but over one's own impulses. Those who master this art preserve blessings, nurture relationships, and illuminate their hearts. Practicing silence in anger is the essence of inner strength. Each moment of restraint is a chance to see clearly, to breathe deeply, and to respond wisely rather than rashly. By holding back a harsh word, one safeguards not just peace of mind, but the well-being of loved ones. In the modern world, everyone knows how to protect wealth, but few know how to protect the energy of the mind. Bodhidharma reminds us, a single mindful pause in anger can preserve a lifetime of harmony, while a moment of fiery speech can burn what took decades to build. Bodhidharma taught that the wise nourish their spirit through stillness, while the unwise exhaust themselves through words and vain disputes. Silence is the energy of the mind. Each pause, each deep breath restores vitality. Like a calm lake reflecting the moon, the mind only mirrors clarity when it is still. Those who speak constantly, argue, or seek approval scatter their energy and deplete their inner strength. True wisdom lies in speaking with intention and remaining silent when needed, letting the mind replenish itself. A merchant once asked Bodhidharma why, despite working hard, he always felt tired while others seemed at peace. The master replied that he was wasting energy on trivial matters: anger, useless words, endless competition. Each outburst drained him. Each careless word scattered his blessings. From that day, the merchant learned to slow down, speak less, and protect his inner calm. Work became easier, health improved, and peace returned as he realized silence is not avoidance, but a way to preserve one's energy. In modern life, energy is constantly drained through arguments, gossip, judgments, and negative emotions. Silence allows the mind to rest, recover, and regain clarity. Those who practice stillness observe their own breath, heartbeat, and subtle thoughts, understanding what brings fatigue and what brings joy. Silence strengthens both mind and spirit, preserves blessings, and allows insight to grow. Bodhidharma reminded that stillness is not emptiness, it is fullness. A few quiet moments each day refresh the body, deepen sleep, and illuminate the mind, teaching that peace comes not from gaining more, but from wasting less. Bodhidharma taught that the mind is like a mirror. When neglected, it grows dim. When tended with care, it shines bright. Keeping the mind still preserves this clarity. Silence is not merely self-cultivation. It is a way to see the world with wisdom. In stillness, we hear deeper and perceive farther. The impatient and reactive are easily deceived by appearances, acting before understanding, while the silent observe, wait, and allow truth to reveal itself. Often, saying less awakens others faster than words ever could. Amid conflict and noise, the mind becomes clouded and judgment falters. Only in silence does the mind reflect the true nature of things, like a calm lake mirroring reality. The wise notice the subtle currents beneath the surface, while the hasty see only what is obvious. Leaders, judges, and those of insight rely on this quiet observation, allowing their own clarity to discern truth rather than reacting to appearances. Bodhidharma said that without a still mind, wisdom cannot arise. Without pausing thoughts, truth cannot manifest. Silence also allows us to face ourselves honestly. It reveals hidden fear behind anger, greed behind justification, weakness behind bravado, and darkness within our own hearts. Many fear stillness because it exposes the truths they avoid, but growth comes from courageously observing and understanding oneself. As the Zen story goes, to see truth, one must first empty the mind of old opinions and prejudices. When the mind is quiet, insight naturally arises, transforming how we perceive the world. Silence does not diminish us in others' eyes. It sharpens our vision and strengthens our inner clarity. In this way, even a single quiet moment can illuminate the path and reveal love, wisdom, and truth beyond words. Bodhidharma taught that words cannot replace the heart. Only presence and awareness reach awareness. Sometimes, silence is the deepest language of love. In staying quiet, we do not impose on others, yet we give space to hear their suffering. We learn that others do not always need advice. They need a calm presence. In countless arguments and misunderstandings, if even one party remained silent at the right moment, the outcome could have been very different. As a Zen master once advised a wife frustrated by her husband's anger, responding with words only adds fuel to the fire, but silence lets the flame die down. Silence in love is not indifference. It is compassionate restraint. A gentle touch, a shared breath, or a quiet look can hold more meaning than 1,000 words. Those who truly love do not compete over right or wrong. They choose silence to preserve harmony and nurture the heart. To speak without judgment, to remain present, is often the most powerful way to guide, comfort, and allow growth. True love emerges not from persuasion, but from giving the other space to heal, reflect, and stand on their own. When one practices silent love, their energy becomes gentle yet strong. They do not react to misunderstanding, argue when blamed, or grow harsh when others are weak. Silence protects their energy, preserves blessings, and cultivates the heart. Like a calm lake reflecting the sky after rain, a quiet presence allows relationships to restore and deepen. Mature love speaks not in flowers of words, but in the steady, compassionate stillness of hearts, aligned in understanding. Sometimes, a single quiet moment holds more love than 1,000 spoken phrases. Bodhidharma taught that those who reach the highest state of the way do not argue, explain, or speak unnecessarily, for in silence lies the full truth. When the mind is clear, words naturally become few. When wisdom is deep, the heart naturally rests. Silence is not ignorance, it is the pinnacle of understanding. The world often assumes that those who speak much know much. But true insight belongs to those who speak little, for they understand that truth is experienced, not explained. Words are easy. Living them is the challenge. The wise choose stillness not to hide knowledge, but to fully embody it. A disciple once asked why enlightened ones often appear serious. Bodhidharma smiled. When one sees the whole of life, there is no desire to argue over a single leaf. True wisdom does not seek recognition or victory. It simply lives rightly. Silence allows the mind space to observe, reflect, and perceive the deeper truths behind actions, emotions, and words. It lets the quiet energy of awareness radiate, calming the restless, awakening the ignorant, and teaching without a single utterance. The enlightened understand that speaking is powerful. Each word carries energy that can heal or harm. The wise speak gently, like a flowing stream, while the unwise roar like a waterfall. In silence, they return to the rhythm of their own breath, the stillness of the heart, and the light within. They no longer chase approval or fear judgment, for their peace comes from within. In a world of noise, those who remain silent are the ones whose presence alone brings clarity, strength, and calm. True silence is the highest wisdom, and in it, peace naturally arises. Bodhidharma taught that when our mind sways with the words of others, we have not truly understood ourselves. The wise do not need to defend against gossip or slander. They remain silent and let time reveal the truth. Criticism and rumors are like the wind. They blow past everyone, but only the weak tremble. The steadfast mind remains calm, like leaves unmoved on a tree, because the judgment of the world cannot measure the life of one who is true. In remaining quiet, we do not lose. We preserve our path, our heart, and our merit. A disciple once asked, "Master, I live kindly, yet others speak ill of me. What should I do?" Bodhidharma smiled and replied, "If someone throws ashes at you, do not pick them up. The ashes will fall on their own." Silence does not mean weakness. It is a reflection of understanding cause and effect. Words spoken in anger or defense only stir turmoil in the heart. The truly wise know that slander reflects the speaker's own shortcomings or discomfort with someone living differently. By remaining silent, the heart softens naturally, and the truth gradually emerges without force. History shows that even the greatest sages faced misjudgment. Bodhidharma was called mad, Huineng was doubted, The Buddha was criticized. Yet they chose quietude. Knowing truth requires no proclamation. The worldly, however, chase validation, speak to defend themselves, and only deepen confusion. The wise, by contrast, smile and observe, recognizing that every insult or critique is a lesson, both for the speaker and for oneself. In cultivating calm in the face of gossip, we protect our energy, preserve our merit, and allow the natural course of truth to reveal itself. When the mind remains quiet long enough, we see that slander can neither harm nor define us. It is merely wind, and the wind always passes. Bodhidharma taught, when the mind is still, wisdom arises. When the mouth is silent, blessings grow. When the body is calm, karma dissolves. These three silences form the pillars of a life well lived. The world's noise does not bring happiness. It only tires the heart. In stillness, the mind reflects reality clearly, like water free of ripples. In silence, the heart becomes grounded like the earth. No word spoken can disturb it. Peace flows like fragrance, unseen yet felt, spreading without effort. Silence is the hardest lesson because it asks us to let go of ego, yield our need to be right, and hold on to what is good. Yet once we taste its sweetness, we see that love does not require many words, respect does not demand argument, and understanding does not need justification. The truly wise stand quietly amid life's storms, and even the wind bows before them. They are not afraid of solitude, for in stillness they hear the pulse of the universe and the voice of their own soul. They are not afraid of loss, for everything comes and goes as it should. Silence does not mean detachment from life. They still act, love, laugh and cry, but they do so without letting their hearts be carried away. To live this way is to navigate life like a skilled sailor, knowing when to resist, when to release, moving steadily through the currents without fear. Silence does not harm others. It dissolves pride, anger, and illusion within ourselves. It does not mean defeat. It is the victory of the free heart. Those who understand themselves need not justify. Those who love them need not hear words, and those who fail to understand will only mishear. Learning silence is learning love, preserving blessings, and maturing in wisdom. Take a moment now. Sit quietly, breathe deeply, and listen to your own heart. Let silence become your companion in the days ahead. Life does not belong to the loudest, but to those who know when to be still, who know their own hearts, and who carry peace through every storm. In stillness, the world softens, and the path forward becomes clear.